In this example, we have two graphs. We want to identify the domain and range for each. So we'll treat this as a separate problem and this as a separate problem. We'll use interval notation for our answer. So the domain and the range, the domain is just all the possible values of x, and the range, that's all the possible values of y. So let's see where this function is defined, which x value. If we follow this function, we kind of stop right here, we don't continue. And I'm going to go ahead and just look at this x value right here, which is -3. It's filled in, so be careful with that. I'm just circling the value of -3 here. All these other x values are possible. You can see that because the function's defined there. So -1 has an output, 0 has an output, all the values in here have outputs, all the way to this piece right here. So we know this is going to be filled in. All these values are possible. And we'll have an open circle here because 3, the function is not actually defined at 3. So there's our domain. So we'll write D for domain here. It is including -3 up to but not including 3. Let me switch to a different color here. The range are just all the possible values of y. If you want to, you can actually just rotate your picture. This is the y-axis, and we're still going to look left to right. Or in this case, down to up, I suppose. But least to greatest always. So if we look here, -5 is actually a possible value. It just has to occur once. So even though this is an open circle, this is a filled-in circle. So we want to fill in this circle here. The y values go all the way this way, but don't go past 4. 4 is an actual possibility though, so we want to fill that in. We're listing our range here, and so the range is going to be -5 to 4, including each one. So we'll turn our sheet back the correct way. And you don't have to rotate it 90 degrees if you don't want. That's just my my thought there to help you see that you're really kind of doing the same thing for the domain and range, just in 2 different directions. And it can help you. If that does help you, please do it. So the range is -5 to +4, including each one. Notice how the graph doesn't exist below -5 or above 4. And our interval notation, our range, doesn't have that either. And this graph doesn't exist to the left of -3 or to the right of 3, and that's right here in our domain. Let's utilize this same concept with the next one. So if we go along our function, the furthest left this function goes is right here at -3. The furthest right it goes is right here at 3. So actually this one's pretty similar to the previous one, except, oops, try not to make this mistake. It's open circle there. So the domain is -3 to 3, but not including that 3 over here because it's open. Let's look at the range. The range is going to be -3 all the way up to 4. And all the values here in the middle will work. I forgot to do that for this one, so all these values will work. So if we look at a piece in green, we've got -3, including -3, up to, but not including 4.